The Monongahela, West Virginia's forgotten engine of industry, conflict, and renewal. This river has seen steel empires rise and fall. It once ran black with coal sludge and orange with acid mine drainage. It's a river that carried warships, ferried enslaved people to free soil, and later drowned entire towns under its swollen floodwaters. And yet, it still flows, from the Appalachian highlands to the three rivers of Pittsburgh. In this video, we'll follow the path of the Monongahela River from its rural source in West Virginia's Tigard and Cheat valleys to its industrial mouth in Pennsylvania. Because this isn't just a story about a waterway, it's about the complicated heart of America's rise and the long path to environmental rebirth. The geography of the Monongahela River. Let's begin with geography. And with this river, the geography is as dynamic as the history. The Monongahela River, often called the Mon, stretches 130 miles from Fairmont, West Virginia, to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But its true story begins at the confluence of the Tigard Valley River and the West Fork River, both rising deep in the West Virginia highlands. The Tigard, born in Randolph County's Allegheny Mountains, carves through the Elkins and Grafton. The Cheat River, a major tributary to the Mon, begins in Pocahontas County and cuts through Preston and Tucker counties, famous for its wild whitewater and canyon gorges. Together, these rivers form the Upper Monongahela Basin, a watershed that spans over 7,300 square miles across 2 states. The Mon isn't the longest or deepest river in America, but what makes it remarkable is its navigability. Thanks to a complex system of locks and dams constructed by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the Mon has been a working river for over 200 years, capable of transporting barges hundreds of miles upstream into the mountains. Its average discharge at Pittsburgh is around 12,250 cubic feet per second, though flood events can spike this dramatically. This is a river that has both shaped and been shaped by engineering. A waterway artificially tamed for commerce, but still subject to the wild forces of nature. A river of industry, labor, and war. From the earliest days of European colonization, the Monongahela has been a site of struggle and ambition. In the 1700s, the Mon was a vital artery in the French and Indian War. The disastrous British expedition, led by General Braddock in 1755, which included a young George Washington, was ambushed along the Mon, forever altering control of the Ohio Valley. But the Mon's greatest transformation came in the 19th and 20th centuries, with the rise of industry. Coal mines sprang up across the Tigard, Cheat, and Mon valleys, fueling the iron furnaces and steel mills that would define the Pittsburgh region. Coal was extracted from hillsides and loaded directly onto barges that floated down the Mon. Steel produced from this coal and iron built American cities, weapons for world wars, and the cars and bridges of the 20th century. This region also became the cradle of the American labor movement. Towns like Monongah, Fairmont, and Morgantown witnessed strikes, disasters, and acts of defiance that shaped labor law. The Monongah mine disaster of 1907, just a few miles from the Mon's headwaters, killed over 360 men and boys, the worst mining disaster in American history. The Mon Valley was once one of the most important industrial corridors in the world, but that industrial glory came with a steep price: environmental degradation, labor exploitation, and deadly accidents. Ecological richness and environmental decline. Beneath the surface of the Monongahela's industrial identity lies an underappreciated ecological story. The Mon River Basin is home to over 70 species of fish, including muskellunge, walleye, channel catfish, and smallmouth bass. In the Cheat River, known for its pristine headwaters and dramatic canyon, you'll find brook trout and endangered freshwater mussels like the northern riffle shell. These rivers also form part of the Appalachian mixed mesophytic forest, one of the most biodiverse temperate forest ecosystems on Earth. Bald eagles nest along the Mon. Beavers, otters, and hellbenders, a giant aquatic salamander, still survive in its quieter tributaries. Yet for decades, this ecological wealth was under assault. The Monongahela became synonymous with acid mine drainage, particularly in the Cheat and Tigard headwaters. Iron oxide from abandoned mines turned streams orange. Chemical spills, like the infamous 1994 Albright Power Station failure on the Cheat, wiped out entire fish populations. Sewage and storm runoff contaminated urban stretches of the river. Whole communities were warned not to drink the water. The Mon was usable for industry, but barely livable for life. The people who stayed and fought. Even as industry collapsed and waters turned toxic, people along the Mon didn't give up. Communities from Fairmont to Morgantown to Masontown started to push back, organizing cleanups, forming watershed associations, and demanding accountability. The Friends of the Cheat was founded in 1994 after the Albright spill and became a model for citizen-led environmental recovery. Universities like WVU in Morgantown began studying the river's chemistry and biology. Volunteer groups tested water quality. Whitewater rafters and kayakers fought to reclaim the Cheat as a recreation destination. Simultaneously, towns that had been gutted by deindustrialization looked to the river for revitalization. Morgantown began investing in riverfront parks, public trails, and festivals. Marinas opened. Paddleboarding, tubing, and fishing, once unthinkable, became part of everyday life again. While the Mon never made national headlines, it became a quiet case study in Appalachian resilience. A river written off, now slowly reclaimed. Climate change and the Mon's uncertain future. The Monongahela River Basin may seem stable now, but the pressures of climate change are starting to mount. Warmer winters are disrupting stream temperatures, threatening native fish species like brook trout. Heavier rainfall is causing flash floods in mountain hollows, flooding roads and towns and overwhelming old infrastructure. The Mon River already has a history of catastrophic flooding, including the Great Floods of 1936, 1985, and more recently in 2016 and 2021. Many of these floods came not from the Mon itself, but from its tributaries, the Cheat and Tigard, swelling far beyond normal levels. At the same time, water quality is facing new threats. Fracking in northern West Virginia and southwestern Pennsylvania poses risks of chemical runoff. Deforestation on steep hillsides increases sedimentation. Even small increases in river temperature could collapse fragile aquatic ecosystems. All this means the Mon's future is uncertain, not because it's dying, but because it's changing, and the human systems around it must adapt fast. Hope, healing, and the power of stewardship. Yet there is real hope for the Monongahela and its watershed. Waters once deemed dead now support healthy fish populations. The Cheat River, once the poster child of acid mine drainage, now hosts rafting trips, fishing tournaments, and swimming holes. The Cheat River Rail Trail, the Mon River Trail, and the Caperton Trail now connect towns like Morgantown and Fairmont to nature and to each other. Old coal docks are being transformed into picnic shelters. In Grafton, Tigard Lake State Park draws in visitors from all over the region. New generations are rediscovering these rivers not as sites of extraction, but as spaces for connection with land, with history, and with each other. And the Mon itself is finding new purpose. It still supports barge traffic. It still runs beside power plants. But now it also flows past universities, breweries, bike paths, and farmers' markets. The slow but steady pulse of a region, rebuilding from the banks outward. A river reborn, the Monongahela River has carried many identities. A warpath, an industrial corridor, a poisoned vein, and now a recovering lifeline. It has known flood and fire, labor wars and chemical spills, but it has also nourished forests, raised families, and become a symbol, not just of Appalachia's pain, but of its persistence. In many ways, the Mon tells America's story, the price of progress, the cost of forgetting, and the miracle of remembering, the miracle of return. So as it continues its journey north to meet the Allegheny and form the Ohio, the Monongahela reminds us that no place, no river, is beyond saving. It just needs people willing to fight for it. If If you learned something new about the Monongahela and its hidden history, be sure to like the video, subscribe for more deep dives into overlooked rivers and landscapes, and tell us in the comments, what river should we cover next?